My name is Taurean Moore, and I am the first grade teacher here at Michigan International Prep School.
My name is Amanda Hopkins, and I am the first grade mentor here at Michigan International Prep School.
That's a question that I get quite frequently. Like, how does that go? How are you able to work with first graders online in a virtual setting? And I say that it's actually quite easy because all of our children naturally are like inquisitive, and they have a love and desire and passion for learning. And if you help cultivate that and foster their love of learning, it becomes quite easy. As with anything, when students have like routine and structure and they see that you value education, and then they can also ask questions and have autonomy in their learning, and then their parents also make it a priority for them to make learning of importance, and I feel like it's an easy thing and it just goes actually quite perfectly.
So mentoring in a virtual setting is really, for me, it's connecting with the families at a personal level. I do a lot of social emotional things with the students. Usually once a week I have that sort of meeting with them just so that they can get together and have a little bit of fun and get that social that they need, especially at the young age. So that's a lot of what I do. It is also coaching the parents through how they can interact with their kid and kind of build a team around their child in order for them to be successful in first grade. Taurean and I do a pretty good job of communicating. That's a big thing for us too. We meet on a regular basis. We bounce things off of each other pretty much daily.
Yes, daily.
Is how we bounce things off of each other, just so that we're working and we're coming at it as, you know, a united front in order to make it successful for each individual student, and we individualize it for each student. So they're not all approached the same way.
We have 2 live lesson times. We have one in the morning and one in the afternoon. And prior to the beginning of the school year, parents have the opportunity to sign their kiddo up for their desired live lesson time. And I'm always making a point of making sure I log in early, and so does Amanda, to make sure that we're there and we see the students in the waiting room. So about 5 minutes prior to the start of class, we get them in, engaged. We always make sure we say hello, we welcome them, make sure we talk to each student individually as best as we can, get some good news, give them the opportunity to gather their items and whatever they're going to need for the live lesson that day, whether it be math, science, ELA, or social studies. And then Amanda's there to support, help answer any questions, pull kiddos off to the side, maybe in a small group setting, or if we notice, for example, in the past we've had children have maybe some things that have happened to them, maybe they're trying to chomp on some crayons or something like that. Amanda's able to contact mom or dad and let them know, like, hey, we need you to step in briefly. Or if we know that we had students with a medical concern in the past, we're able to make that contact. I can message her, she can message me, we can get in contact with the parent. So it really works very well. And yeah, so we'll have our live lesson, get as much participation from the kiddos as possible. And then at the end, at that time, they also have the opportunity to ask us questions or just share things about their lives, because we really enjoy learning more about them.
So she focuses more on the educational and the instructional part of it, so that's why I pick up the slack in the other areas. So if there is the instances where we have, you know, a child kind of maybe not paying attention in class, I can message that child separate, or I can message the parent separate and be like, hey, such and such has fallen asleep. Are they okay? Do they need, you know, something like that? Do they need a brain break for a hot second? Those sort of things is what I do. We have had a kid munching on a crayon and eating some glue, so I contact the parents and say, hey, I'm kind of concerned, can you go check this out, sort of thing. And the mom was very thankful that I was able to do that. I also am available and let parents know that I'm available during those live lessons times if they're having trouble logging in. We've had a lot of logging in, or they don't have Wi-Fi, or those technological difficulties that they have. They contact me, I'll get them logged in, and that's when I'll sometimes communicate with the teacher, be like, hey, the reason why this kid is late, so you need to make sure to let them in, is because they were having Wi-Fi issues, or that sort of thing. So it's a lot of communication back and forth. Definitely. I've also pulled groups. If she notices that some students aren't grabbing a concept, she'll be going over that concept, but the students that have grasped that concept, she'll say, hey, can you pull these out in a small group and do a little bit more intensive with them? So we'll do that at the same time as well.
For me, that's the most important thing. I think the most important thing is to foster and create like a relationship with not only the students as individuals, but also creating like a classroom culture. And I know that might sound like crazy being in a virtual setting, but it's definitely possible. I mean, we've made it possible the last going on 3 years. So yeah, it's definitely possible. Just making sure that you know things about your students, what they like, what they dislike. Of course, watching for their gestures, their tone, and things like that. And just actually being willing to listen, not just like have it be fed into your ear and then out the other. Just genuine concern and care for your students, because they are people and they have emotions and they have feelings and they are able to communicate those things, and sometimes they're not, and you can help them get there. So like I said at the beginning, we are able to talk with them at the beginning of the lessons, and they're able to share things that they really like or maybe that they dislike, talk to us about their family. Like, we love hearing it all. We often, in the past, we've had a pet day, so kids have had the opportunity to bring their pets to class and share some facts about them. It also allows them to have the opportunity to practice their public speaking skills, which are really important in first grade. We do have a lot of other social emotional things that we do too as well. So we'll sometimes celebrate holidays if it's possible, or she will also have her Hopkins hooplas, which are really cool too. And you can talk more about that.
And those with the Hopkins hoopla is what I call it. It's the name I give it. So a lot of times they do a show and tell, but in the process of that show and tell, I've kind of made it where the kids sign up for it, and then I ask them to create 5 questions or 5 clues to what their item is. So that interacts each student with that student. So the student presents the clue, and then the other students have the opportunity to, hey, well, I think it's this. And then I kind of go back and be like, well, we know it's not this, and we know it's not this, but it could be this type of thing, which gives them that interaction with each other. And then that also gives us more insight. And part of what I like about this is we're kind of invited into the family's house.
Yeah.
We're invited into their home. So the kids are comfortable. And a lot of times they're super comfortable with sharing things with us that sometimes maybe they wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Sometimes too much. Some of those things. Yep. But like we've had students, say, hey, we'd like you to stay after we created a dance. So we sit there, and after class, she's very good about this. So before class she gives some time, but after class, if they want to stay on and share, we build that into our time where they stay on and they can share. So they can give us a dance move and show us their dance that they've created for us. We've had karate moves, drawings, singing, those sort of things with the students, and then that gives them that sense of belonging with us, and we're also bringing them into our home at the same time. When she talked about the dogs, or bringing the pet, I brought my pets in with me and had them sitting next to me. It was a little chaotic, but I got to show them my dogs as well. So,
and even if students don't have pets, like I myself am allergic, like we also tied it with like having a stuffed animal. So bring your favorite stuffed animal to class. Just share a little bit of yourself so that we know who you are, and so your fellow classmates know who you are as well. And we love having you. We love when you share, because it gives us some of our best stories and some of our best memories, and I think it makes it easier for us to connect with our students when we need to serve them academically as well, because we have fostered and created that relationship with them. I just want to say that we're excited to have our MIPS family here, or our Michigan International Prep School students here, and we're excited to continue to work with you and to teach you and to mentor you and to educate you, and we just look forward to having an awesome year.
And I enjoy the challenges that come along with the beginning of the school year and getting to know the new students. We always kind of go back and forth. She sends out a thing where we get to know the students right off the bat as much as possible, and it's kind of fun to see that, and then you put the face with the name. So it's really great when we're able to put that face with the name and the love of whatever that they've told us they love, whether or not it be a sport, or whether or not it be dinosaurs,
or a dance move,
or a dance move, or a karate move, those sort of things. We've had lots of demonstrations for us, so we really enjoy getting to know the students on a personal level as well.